Greetings Internet, DDA here, and welcome to new match videos that RNG is bringing you. This time we have the finals from the Portal Comics local weekly play. The finals match between these two undefeated players. We have Logan, who has been ravaging the local meta with Han for the longest time, now is switching to his Piett yellow deck. Facing off against Matt, who is traditionally has been playing Sabine for a while. Featured in the Lightside Darkside Championship, Matt was. Here he is actually on Jango Tarkintown. Both of these decks are set to be dominant meta forces. Really dominant meta forces here, especially on the Piett side. Piett, very interesting combos that Piett gives you. Very interesting combos it gives you for ramp. And when you add Triple Dark Raid into the mix, you can do some pretty crazy things with Triple Dark Raid and Resupply Carrier and other combos as well. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of that in this match, in this finals match. But starting out here with a Prepare for Takeoff, grabbing the Resupply Carrier and that yellow Ambush capital ship. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it has Ambush and Raid 1, a very strong capital ship in Piett yellow. Starting out with the Prepare for Takeoff there to grab that Resupply Carrier for the combo. Very, very strong there. Jango responding with a Kylos TIE Silencer. About to push in some damage on the Jango side. We're going to have to see. Jango probably has a pretty decent matchup into Piett, being able to tap down the big capital ships that Piett plays, doing resupply on Logan's side, getting ready for that Piett deploy next turn. Jango pushing in some damage here. Always scary to resupply against a aggro deck. Of course, Jango himself is mid-range. He's built like an aggro deck. Most people build him like an aggro deck. So always a little scary to resupply against an aggressive build. But here we are seeing the P-38 come down and not tap down or not ping anything. Surely Matt didn't really have another play there, because saving that P-38 to tap down the capital ship, or potentially Tarkintown here, would have been a good play. I'm assuming he didn't really have another 3-drop play there. Going into the 5-resource turn with Piett, Logan about ready to deploy Piett here. But first we're going to use that ability, I'm assuming for the yellow. Yes, the yellow ambush ship. Great here. Like, getting this early capital ship, but also getting the ambush for that immediate value, showing how yellow Piett can generate immediate value on the board. Not only play big capital ships for cheaper, but also get that immediate board presence. Flipping Piett here after Jango pushes in some damage, getting Piett up to 6 damage on his base. Doing the IG-2000 play to tap down Piett, save a little bit of damage, but surely we're going to be seeing that Tarkintown take out that capital ship. Now, of course, it could have been a little bit better for maybe Matt to save that Tarkintown there. Potentially he could have saved the Tarkintown for the next capital ship that Logan played. That ship already did have only 2 HP left. So it's possible for maybe Matt to have saved the Tarkintown there for this play here, which is sure to be Resupply Carrier, or maybe he's on 6. The Resupply Carrier would only be 4. Oh, okay. I was like, what is he going to do with those 2 resources? But we're going to see the Admiral Piett come down. And we're going to get another ambush capital ship here. The ambushes showing incredible value here. Slowing the damage push that Jango is doing with that ambush. Matt knows what's coming. Seeing that Admiral Piett drop down, Matt knows that an ambush unit is coming. For 6 cost, Piett has so many options of capital ships for 6 cost. We know it's going to be resupply carrier. We saw it earlier with that prepare for takeoff. But we're going to see the triple dark raid here. Unfortunately, not going to be an answer to the Piett unit in the ground. You would maybe want to play an ambush unit. I wonder if the Jango decks are going to be slotting Forlom back into their list to answer that Piett unit. A Forlom would be an excellent answer to Piett in the ground arena. Tapping down Piett leader. Want to take out Piett leader as fast as possible here. But we're going to see the ambush resupply carrier with Piett unit. The ambush resupply carrier. The ambushing here with the yellow deck is just showing the power. Taking out the IG, leaving out both P-38s. Now, whether Matt pushes in completely fully here, I think he has to end this game. He can't... Like, resupply carrier's great, but he has to end this game. He needs to take that 9 damage to the base, I'm thinking. 9 damage to the base sounds good to me. He's thinking about this, probably deciding where the damage is going. It's unfortunate Jango cannot take out either Piett in the ground arena right now. So I'm thinking he just has to take that 9 to base. His only option, and it's unfortunate that he's going to get another round of ambushing. Going up to 8 resources next turn is going to be devastating. Quite literally devastating, as some foreshadowing. I don't actually know if he's going to play Devastator, but he could, because I don't think we'll be seeing that Admiral Piett unit leader. So we're actually going to play control here. I don't know if this is the correct play. Yeah. If that 1 damage ping, is he going to take out the... I think if he's going to go with control, he has to take out the ambush Piett unit. He has to take it out. Ping it, yes. Okay, this is the correct play. Like, I still would take the 9 to base personally. But if this is the play that you're going to do, you absolutely have to take out the ability for the Piett deck to ambush their units in. Good play here by Matt. Whether or not this is the right choice, it's definitely more control-y. We'll have to see, but we are going to see a sneak attack here. Wow, this target, the droid missile platform for sneak attack, is incredibly powerful. Oh, jeez. See, honestly, I think this shows even further that Matt should have just pushed in that 9 damage. Because it would have been an extra... He would be at 19 right now. Or more than that. No, because he took... yeah, okay. Yeah, he took a lot of that indirect damage to base. He probably would have spread it out on his units. Yeah, I probably just would have went full base there. And then knowing that I was going to sneak attack the droid missile platform is more of a reason to go full base there, I feel. But we're going to have to see what Logan drops here. The Relentless coming down in space. Very strong there. Shutting down Triple Dark Raid. Shutting down No Good Me Dead. Shutting down a lot on the Jango side. But we're going to see the War Juggernaut to tap down Piett and put a damage on that Relentless. So now Matt needs to end this game ASAP here. Needs to end the game. So, self-damaging, getting the +4/+0 on that War Juggernaut. That War Juggernaut, ugh. See, I understand you want to take out the Piett, but at this point in the match, I feel like it is a mad dash to endgame here. Piett is already in the endgame, playing an end game here against the Jango deck. I feel like Jango just needs to end this game. I know leaving up Piett leader is scary. Because things like, Devastator, mostly Devastator. But I guess the question you have to ask yourself, are you removing the Devastator? Because I don't think you actually are. I think he's on 10. But yeah, we're going to see the overwhelming barrage here for 10 damage to take out all the units. Yeah. So this is where we are. This is where it kind of just falls out of the grasp of the Jango deck. And we're kind of seeing like he basically didn't have 9 damage to the base. He would be taking more damage and having to face more on the board right now. But that 9 damage to base could get him in the threshold. He would have to, say, burn a Daring Raid to burn the Relentless, and then Triple Dark, I would say, is his path to victory right now. I don't think he has a path to victory right now. I think there's too little base damage right now. If he had more damage on the base, he would have some lines that he could do, potentially here. But the lack of base damage, taking that 10 to base from the Relentless. The Relentless doing a great job to control the Jango deck. Jango uses a surprising number of events. And then the Waylay here, just to add insult to injury. The Waylay here. Jango's in a really rough spot here. Technically winning in base damage. Actually, they're even in base damage because of the 25 HP of Tarkintown. But that Relentless on board has free reign. Logan is on 10 resources now. He was on 9 last turn. The 10 resources. This is the Devastator turn. Well, actually, no. Last turn was the Devastator turn because he had Piett. Yeah, pretty much GG's, I feel, just kind of going through the motions. I don't think, like I said, I just don't see a line here. Like, the play would be, like, it's pretty much this is the last turn. Like, Logan's going to do 8 more damage, play another big ship, and then he's going to just one more crack. Like, 2 Relentless swings just wins, right? So this is pretty much it right here. This is the end of the game. And the base damage on Piett is just too low for Matt to be able to do anything. So he will tap down the Relentless, which it definitely will help. But are we about to see big boy, slightly smaller boy, Art Quintons, just pushing in and just adding additional targets? So obviously Jango can only tap down 1 ship at a time. Let me put all the 8 damage ships in space so that way we can end this game. Now's the time. Jango has to make a move here. Jango has to make a move here if he's going to do anything. I think the Daring Raid into either Triple Dark or Sneak may want to be done on the last turn. He might be dropping War Juggernaut here again since we just saw it waylaid. Yep. War Juggernaut definitely going to be able to get some damage in. Double damaging his units, getting that War Juggernaut up to 7 damage. But then another waylay. Another waylay here. Wow. Logan just having all the answers, right? And it's hard when you're facing off against a Relentless and then also the waylays. Like, you're being forced into playing a fair game with the Relentless. Like, you can't use events. So a fair game meaning I just have to play a bunch of units. And then having to face off those yellow tricks, the waylays, that's really tough. All the waylays in the world. Yeah, the waylays. Yeah, and kind of rehash again why I was thinking that pushing base there was probably better. Like, the resupply carrier was 4 damage, right? And you know that Logan might actually decide to send the resupply carrier into the units anyway. So you always have to think when you're playing these aggro decks, these decks that want to end the game, you always have to think, am I doing work for my opponent? Is my opponent going to want to damage my units anyway? And am I doing work for them by attacking their units? And I think in this instance, when he had that P-38 and Jango, you know, I think he was doing work for Logan a little bit. He was helping him out by taking his damage off the board. So always got to think about that. But yep, just kind of, again, going through the motions here. Like, here's a triple dark. Not really, I mean, pretty much ending the game here with this triple dark. You know, Jango, Matt, is sitting at 17 base damage. Any sort of decently sized ship will just pretty much end the game right here. Only one tap down. He has a reinforcement walker coming in and will surely heal and just ensure the completion of this first match. But he's actually going to draw it. I would heal just, like, you don't really need the heal, but just in case, like, do you need that card? Like, I'm sure it was a pretty darn good card that he drew, but you have 20 damage on the board. Do you really need another card in your hand at this point? Another triple dark raid. All right, Logan. All right, Logan. Yep, so packing it up. Game 1 goes to yellow Piett. I do think that Jango has a very strong matchup into Piett because Piett puts a lot of investment into those big ships. I think the yellow deck does have better play into Jango because of the ambushing. And of course, Triple Dark Raid will match. Like, Triple Dark Raid for Triple Dark Raid, you'll match there. And then you have additional ambush targets with that ambush capital ship. And so I think Piett Yellow does have some nice play into Jango. But I do think Jango is still favored here because, you know, Logan had the waylays, had the waylay answers. You know, a lot of waylays there. So it's not every game that you're going to be able to draw all those waylays and be in a position where it kind of ends the game for you to do that. But we'll have to see. Going into this game 2 match, sideboards are coming out. What does Jango sideboard here to help out in this matchup? If he has Daring Raids in his sideboard, I would definitely send those in. When you're facing off against a Relentless and you're a deck that runs a fair number of events and relies on those events, Triple Dark Raid, Sneak Attack, having the Daring Raid to kind of burn the Relentless or also just hit that 2 damage on base could end the game there. So if he's not maxed out on 3 Daring Raids, I would definitely side those in. Commandeer is actually a very, very strong sideboard card. And if you're not playing Commandeer in your sideboard, I think you got to start to play Commandeer in your sideboard. The Piett decks, the Jango decks, they put a lot into their big vehicle units. And to be able to take some of that damage away from them, push in for your own damage, Commandeer is a great card. Because, again, Jango just wants to end the game, but it looks like, okay, we are adding some IGs and some Cam Syndulas. Potentially ramp. Not a bad pick here from Jango. Pretty heavy investment there on resources. My question, and the Commandeer's coming in. Yep, so it's funny. I mentioned Commandeer, and Logan must have heard me. Past Logan must have heard me. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Jango Matty doesn't look like he plays Commandeer in his sideboard. Maybe want to think about that. Because you have to ask yourself the question, okay, the ramp is good on the Cam unit. The ramp is good, but what are you doing with those extra resources? How are those extra resources helping you win the game? Devastator? Potentially. It could be Devastator. Devastator could be the answer to this matchup. If he starts dropping strong Devastators early, I don't know how many Devastators he's playing, But adding in those 3 cams, I might have added in a 3rd Devastator. If you're trying to meet Piett with his ultimate capital ship punishment, meet Piett in ramp, meet him in space with the capital ships, Devastator really is your kind of go-to here. To stand at the top of your curve and make use of that ramp that the cam is giving you. So going into match 2 here, we are set to have a fun match, a fun conclusion of this finals match. Jango dropping down Greedo and Piett responding with the Bib Fortuna. Really strong play here. I mean, really strong for multiple reasons. A clean answer to Greedo, so if Logan wanted to play slow, he could just go into Greedo right here. Also, just in a Triple Dark Raid deck, Bib is strong. So, Jango getting in that 3 damage from the Greedo before Bib has a chance to take him out. Yep. See, and this is what I mean about you don't want to do the work for your opponent. Because it's clear here that Logan is setting in for a very controlling game, wanting to control Jango's units to make sure he does not have issues going into the mid and late game. Now, the Tarkintown here would actually be valuable. I would think that a Tarkintown here would go. Yep, good on Matt. Good on Matt here for getting that Tarkintown off. I know it seems weird, but the last thing you want is, going into the 5 turn to, like, see a Triple Dark Devastator or triple dark, like something crazy to come out, like a reduced Triple Dark. Maybe not, though. Because does Piett win this game by Triple Dark Raid? That's the question I would ask. Because, like, Bib would do nothing here. It's a tough choice. Keeping the Bib up might have been the call there. I was thinking immediately, like, my snap decision was take out that Bib with Tarkintown. But the question is, what event are you afraid of? Triple Dark? But does Piett win with Triple Dark, though? I don't think so. But we are going to see the Triple Dark here from Jango after the resupply carrier from Piett, ramping him to 6. So we are going to see the Piett deploy here. And then going up to 7 for the 9 play on a capital ship. But you can see a lot of the time, Logan is actually, he's not tapping out completely on capital ships. He is using the resourcing from Piett. He's using the discount in order to do double plays. That's actually what we've been seeing him do. Showing the power of yellow Piett. Filling the board with capital ships while also playing tricks. And I'm again trading the full board here. Like, Jango has no board now, and just wanting to take out that resupply carrier. I don't see it. Push in damage, my friend. You are an aggro deck. Like, yes, Jango he feels control-y. He does. But the control that Jango gives you is what edges out the aggro match. Here against a late game mid-range, because that's what Piett is. Piett is a late game mid-range deck. Jango is an early game mid-range deck. Low to the ground, aggro-ish mid-range. So you just want to use your speed. You want to use your speed here and not play control. We're seeing a control game played by the Jango player. Jango flip, immediately responding with no good to me dead. Yep, we're seeing the yellow control here. Logan with 5 resources left, able to do up to a 7 drop on a capital ship. That no good to me dead surely will be a big play. Slowing the damage push from the Jango. Yep, I would be curious to ask Logan if he was going to send that resupply carrier into the P-38s or just push base. I don't know if either way, like even if he decided to push base with the resupply carrier, like let's say Maddie decides, all right, I'm just going to push base with my P-38 and not go into the resupply carrier. Even if Logan decided to go base with resupply carrier and let Jango have the P-38 damage, I don't think he would do that. But even if he did, I think Jango wins that race. So that's what you got to think about. There are interesting mirrors here between Jango and Mando. I play a lot of Mando, and Mando is very similar, aggressive, tap downs kind of deal. Jango does it, and Jango has an easier time answering those big units where Mando struggles. So think about that advantage, being able to push in. Oh, you see, and I have not watched this match, but I can just see the future right now. We are getting a piloted IG on the Zagarian, and I just see the ambush ship coming. I see the Arquintons. Didn't he just pull an Arquintons into his hand? Yeah, it's coming. Piett is online right now. Arquintons cost 9, so 7 with Piett. The ambush ship is coming. We know it's coming. Look at him. Immediately tab the resource. He knows what's coming. Bam! There's the Arquintons. So, again, here, Jango should have claimed he knew the Arquintons was there. He had just prepared for takeoff. There was no reason to pilot that ship there and just allow for the ambush. Playing around with initiative here, both of these decks are strong in terms of tempo. It's a very tempo game. You have to play as Jango and against Jango. Who has initiative? How does having initiative give me advantage? But we're going to see the Ruthless Raider to finish off the Arquintons here, showing the power of indirect damage. Take out that Arquintons. We'll have to see if Logan has a follow-up. Piett just sitting on the board for a really long period of time, showing the power of Piett here. Jango, such a strong space force, but having difficulty taking out that Piett leader. I am really wondering if a 4-LOM, maybe even sideboard for the Piett match. Shooting out the Radiant 7, one of the strongest ships, of course. Probably going to want to take that indirect damage all on the base and not reduce the power of Jango's units. I can't see a world where you got to take it on the base. Showing the power of Radiant 7, doing 5 indirect damage straight to the base. Not allowing for that spread because, of course, the minus power is very relevant at this point, at this stage in the game. Now, here, you have to swing with Jango. You have to swing with Jango because Piett could go into Jango and give him minus power. So you have to swing with Jango here. Get that damage in. Now's the time. Now's the Jango time where it's time to push in and end the game. Actually going for Piett here at this point, I don't know. I just really just ending the game here with that decision, I would say. Piett wins in the late game. There's no way that Jango can hang in the late game with Piett not happening. That's how you know you need the game to end as the Jango player. Seeing the overwhelming barrage here. Seeing the overwhelming barrage here, tons of damage. Now, reducing the power. Now, you see, if he went base there, he would have had a choice. He would have either had to do all damage to Jango to take him out, or and then not gotten that minus power on the Ruthless Raider. See, we can see how the decisions kind of cascade here. And that because Jango had extra damage on him, he was able to put that 2 damage on the Ruthless Raider and reduce its power, reducing the push. Now, it's possible that he could have did that anyway, but then Jango survives. Then Jango lives. He doesn't put all 7 damage on Jango. But as it stands now, this is a very tight race, and the tightness is exemplified with the Radiant 7 reducing the power. We are going to see the Devastator here. Yep, the Devastator coming down like a hammer. And we are obviously seeing why you are on a timer. You are on a timer against Piett. What are you doing against Devastator? What are you doing? Waylay? No, trade your full board. That's what you do. You send your full board into Devastator because it's your only option. But just showing here the time limit that you have in this matchup. This match pretty much ends on the Devastator play. Killing a unit and a 10-10 Sentinel in space is almost insurmountable for Jango. He would need Waylay here. He absolutely needs a Waylay. That's really what it comes down to. Push in as Jango, Waylay the Devastator, and continue the push in. But here we are going to see the War Juggernaut. A little bit of damage. That Ruthless Raider is only going to do 2 damage. Yeah, so if Radiant 7 wasn't on board, he could actually kill the Devastator with the Ruthless Raider. But because of the Radiant 7, not going to be able to do that. Ruthless Raider only has 2 power. And the War Juggernaut, damaging the War Juggernaut is net 0 with Radiant 7. Pretty funny there. Limited options here. I think, this is so tough. You have to kill the Radiant 7, right? Or no, you just do full damage to Devastator and just pray? No, he kills the Radiant 7. Yeah, I think you have to kill the Radiant 7 there. Trading so much material for so little on the Jango side. But it's funny because everyone says, oh, the game has gotten faster. The game has gotten faster. We are now on the 11th resource, 9 over on Jango side. So yeah, the game has gotten faster in the sense that people can enact their strategies quicker. But as far as even though the length of the game has slightly reduced, we are still getting to this late game that we are all used to. 10, 11 resources. War Juggernaut pushing in here, getting him up. Can Jango end this game? Potentially could have swung with the First Order there. And then done that indirect damage. Assuming he would have damaged Bib, he could have tapped Bib down. But we are going to see Piett here for the Relentless to shut down events. Definitely swing with the First Order here. And here's what I'm saying. Here's where you need those daring raids to burn that Relentless. Because actually because Sneak Attack or Triple Dark Devastator does win this game right here. You do the 4 indirect to Devastator, take off the Devastator, send in 9 to the base, and then the first order ends it. So, Triple Dark Sneak Attack Devastator wins here. But now with that Relentless on board, you need to burn it. You need a Confiscate, you need a Daring Raid, you need some cheap event to burn that Relentless. The question is, does Matt have it? Does he have the answer? He is dead to 1 attack from the Devastator. Tapping down 8 to throw out Devastator. So he had the Devastator. I'm curious if he had the Sneak Attack. If he had the Sneak, it was over. Well, he needed a Sneak and a Daring Raid, right? Because there's the one hanging resource that he needed for that Daring Raid. Yep, and that is the end of the game. Going both games to Logan, he had a No Good to Me dead. So he didn't have... Okay, so he didn't have really the answers that he needed. He can answer one of the units, but not both of them. Close games. Really close games by both players. Great games. Seeing the power of Piett Yellow and seeing the continual power of Jango. You know, obviously Jango, top of the meta. Not insurmountable, though. Can beat Jango with the right sequence of cards. So if you like this video and if you enjoyed this match video, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe for much more match videos coming out. And as always, turn your dial to Random Number Gaming.